best friend didn't speak to me for 7 years. Now she's back as if nothing happened. And she's like, hey girl, everyone's alive, right? We've got Vision and the Avengers. My friend from college, we were best friends and inseparable. We had so many great memories, could talk about anything, did pretty much everything together. By the way, this comes from grateful to be here on the OK Storytime subreddit. So it was mutual on both ends. We never fought, and I was under the impression everything was good. I think that's why it came as such a huge shock. After we graduated, she stopped answering my calls, texts, messages on Facebook. She would just heart it and not reply. I was crushed. I had sent her a message on Facebook and asked if I had done anything or said anything wrong, and if I did, definitely not intentional because I have always cared for her. No response. It went like this for 7 years. It honestly broke my heart. I kept replaying everything in my head to try to see if there was something could have been misunderstood. Did I say something unknowingly? I was heartbroken, felt abandoned, and the worst part was not knowing or being given an answer. After 7 years, one of our mutual friends, who she was still in touch with, gave me her new number. So I reached out and said, hey, just wanted you to know you've been missed. If I said or did anything unknowingly, I'm sorry. She said, oh, you know how technology is. So many people have said they have tried to reach me, but I wasn't getting any of the messages. Yet she was hearting them. Such a stupid, lame excuse.
That really is.
I kind of freaking hate when people are like, to a certain extent, you can be bad at technology or like bad at responding to messages because everyone is.
If you're gonna lie, at least be good at it.
Now, for the past few months, she's been going about as if this never happened and has been buddy-buddy. I'm happy she's back in my life, but I'm starting to realize, no, this was not cool. You don't just walk out of someone's life for 7 years, chalk it up to technology, and then act like we're all good. It's hard because I love her and want to be friends, but I'm like, is she just going to walk out again for 7 years with no explanation and some bogus excuse? I'm still hurt because I don't feel like I've gotten a real answer. And hey, she was still in touch with her mutual friends for all those years. A few of them ended up having a fallout with her in the past year. And then she needed me and started writing back because she didn't have other friends. And I'm starting to realize that maybe that's not a real friend. It is not. I thought about just being like, look, technology was working just fine when you were talking/hanging out with our other friends. Like, spill. What's the real reason you stopped talking to me? Because you know what? That crap hurt. What are your thoughts on this? Could use some solid advice. Should I just block her and move on with my life? I don't know what to do. And there are some relevant comments and an update. But I think regardless of whether or not you're going to continue this friendship, I think you do need to have that conversation with her. Because it seems like it's been bothering you.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's like, I mean, she's obviously not going to address it and like she's just going to keep ignoring it. So if you want it to be brought up, then you got to bring it up.
Relevant comments. Vega Solo says, personally, I would confront her. And after she answered, I would tell her that I didn't want to be friends anymore. Opie says, right? Because I'm genuinely pretty hurt. I'm like, you ghost me for 7 years with no explanation. And when I tried to communicate to see if I unknowingly did something, she just wouldn't reply. And all these years later, she's all buddy-buddy and acting like it never happened and it's been all good this whole time. Her excuse doesn't sit well with me. It's like, look, just be real, because right now it feels like I'm not appreciated or valued to just drop me like that and then pick me up again after she had a fallout with a few of other friends. OP added this in the comments. Thanks for the response. What hurt the most was that she was actively engaging/hanging out with our other friends she wasn't even that close to before. She even flew out to see them. So it hurt that I felt singled out when I honestly can't think of what I could have done to just be cut out. Like no response, nothing, until she had no one else anymore. And there is another update, but yeah, the same thoughts. I think you've been in the dark for 7 years and you need this closure.
It's 7 years. This is a long time. Major things can happen in your life in 7 years. You know, jobs, relationships, lots of big stuff.
Update. A few days ago, I posted about how my college best friend ghosted me for 8 years. Edit. OP rehashed the original post, so I edited it out. The answer didn't sit well with me, but I was honestly happy to finally get a response after 8 years. We've been catching up for the past few months, but if I'm honest, the answer seemed like BS. So some fellow Redditors recommended just cutting her off, and some said to confront her straight up. So I confronted her, and she said the truth was one of our mutual friends was in her ear feeding her lies and gossip about me. And after 8 years, she realized that that girl wasn't a true friend and that everything she said about people was a lie and that she wasn't a good person. I'm not sure how to respond. A part of me is like, we were best friends. You know me, my heart, and you believe another friend? Ghost me with no explanation, no response for 8 years over a lie? That is so incredibly frustrating to me. Like someone's whispering in your ear and you don't even double check that. You don't even fact check it.
Part of me was thinking that it's some sort of unresolved drama, but that's even worse, where it's like she's not even giving you a chance.
Yeah. I guess I just wish she would have been open to hearing my side. As best friends, had it been the other way around, I would have been like, hey, this was said and I just want to run it by you. She didn't even care to hear my side and found out 8 years too late that none of it was true because that friend started doing that to her too. A part of me is heartbroken that a lie took away 8 years of friendship. Another part of me is like, dude, not even a response or even trying to hear my side. Is she going to do this again? I already have gone through abandonment with my dad, as she knows, and going through this when it's hard to let people in. I trusted her, let her in, and honestly, it crushed me. Being ignored and not knowing why hurts. I'm not sure what to do. Do I cut her off? I'm not sure if it'll ever be the same. I'm just appalled that she dropped me over BS gossip without even hearing my side. 8 years has gone by and I'm just, what would you do? And if anyone has gone through something similar, would love to hear. And I would love for you guys to join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap her profile. There are some relevant comments to finish this story off. But what would you do if you were in OP's position?
Yeah, I would definitely talk to her and be like, yo, like, I get it that like that friend wasn't cool and she was like lying about me and whatever, but also like you weren't cool. And I feel like it's understandable too, like even besides all that, to just be like, yeah, I mean, we haven't talked in like 8 years. I just don't vibe with you anymore. You know what I mean? Because 8 years is a freaking long time. You were a different person.
You could be a totally different person now. It seems like OP, I mean, does still get along with this person in this new, new phase of their friendship. But I think the fact that it took her months to tell you the truth about why she stopped being friends with you is just very cowardly.
Right. And I feel like if she like knew that this other friend was like telling lies and stuff and was like, you know, making her not like OP, then it's like, wouldn't you start that friendship again with apologizing?
Hey, I'm so sorry. I had all this information and I shouldn't have listened to it. Yeah, I would start it off with that.
Right. I've done that before after like 3 years.
Yeah.
I like met someone again and I was like, oh my gosh. Hey,
yeah.
Sorry, it was weird time back then. You know what I mean? And then we hung out and then it was chill.
There is a little bit left. Lovely Danny 20 says something like this happened to me. We were best friends from childhood through our earliest 20s. She cut me off for 4 years right when I got married. When she started contacting me again, she claimed she had ghosted me because of her bad mental health. Except she didn't really consider my mental health. She was supposed to be a bridesmaid and instead she ghosted. She also never even reached out when I had my first child. When she tried to rekindle things, I listened to her whole story and didn't interrupt. She said she realized I was one of the best friends she had and blah, 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 blah. But at the end, I said, I can't be friends with anyone who would betray me like that. And that was it. I've never spoken to her or really thought about her since. OP says, that part. She didn't consider your mental health. That hit. It took a mental toll on me for years just knowing, replaying our last interactions. I fell into depression for a bit and felt so hurt, betrayed, abandoned, with not even an explanation for 8 years. She said the same thing to me, that she realized I was her truest friend. It's like, oh, how convenient after all these years now that you're alone. FGN 15 says, in your shoes, you can choose the level of your relationship. You don't have to jump straight back to besties. You can be acquaintances first. She doesn't have a right to your time or friendship and honestly has a boatload of work to do to demonstrate a change of heart. If you discover that she's put in the work to make real changes in herself, I think that might be a green light to slowly proceed beyond acquaintances. But honestly, having a dear friend ghost me in a similar way and having fewer F's to give, I hope her life is good, but stay away from me. I don't need that kind of friendship. And OP says, I kind of feel like she came back because she has no more friends. She's dropped some and some have dropped her recently. And OP made a final resolution in the comments. Everything is stupid says, I wouldn't be able to trust someone after they did that. You deserve better. And Opie responded, I agree. Thank you all for your input. I ended up telling her I didn't want to move forward with being friends, then blocked her, which I think is the right solution or right answer for OP.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, which I think she figured out. That is the end of that story.